Hey guys, what is going on? Captain Nick 88 here, and in this video guys, I'm going to be showing you how to create a background in Adobe After Effects for your animation or for your intros. So without further ado guys, let's get straight into the tutorial. Okay guys, so we are in After Effects right now, and the first thing we're going to do is create a composition. So for the width, I'd say 1920 is 1920 by 1080. You know, make sure it's set to that. That's a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, and then you have frame rate 60, and then duration, I set that to 2 minutes, so that would be a 2 with 2 colons, and that goes to 2 minutes. That's just how I do it. Norton Security is stupid. I'm probably going to delete it. I don't like it at all. So once you do this, you're just going to go here to import file, and then you're going to go here to desktop, and you're going to select your song. So that's what we got. So import your song into the timeline, and I'm actually going to go to 15 seconds because that's where this this ends. Cool. So now that you have that, we're going to right click it, go to Keyframe Assistant and convert audio to keyframes. Select it and hit U on your keyboard. That's going to open up all these keyframes. Just select this both channels slider, so just click the slider and you'll see all these turn blue. Select the graph editor, and then hold Alt and then basically scroll up, and that'll just basically make everything a little bit easier to see. And you're going to go through, so just kind of play it and find those beats and stuff. And once you're there, just click this, if you have a number pad, you want to select the asterisk, and it's the little star thing, and that adds a marker. If you don't, I think you could just do shift and then a number, I'm pretty sure. But it's a lot easier with the number pad. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to basically put a keyframe for every single beat. So I'll see you guys once I have that finished. Alright guys, so we have finished the keyframes, or the markers I should say, and we're just going to minimize that. And this next part, we're going to select the song, and then using J and K you can actually click them to move to the next marker. So we're going to with the song selected, you're going to go through hitting K and the star symbol to add those markers to the song, and then we can delete that. So this is the last beat of the song, so I call this one ease just so I know. And that's basically going to be the last beat, and then it's going to have like a fade animation kind of thing after. And then I go to the beginning, and then I add a marker there, and I call that ease as well. That's where all my animation is going to start. And then it comes on this first beat. So now that we have that done, you can listen to it. Good. So now that we have that, we're going to get straight into the actual animating. So click on the square. You can also click Q, and that will cycle through all of those as well. But we're going to go with a square. And if this is on, let's say fill is on, just hold Alt and then just click fill until it's crossed out. For stroke, just set it to white, I guess, and 80. The width is really up to you. It doesn't really matter. However you like it is the way that you can do it. But we're just going to holding shift, because this will make it a perfect square. Just basically drag, click and drag until you have something that looks like that. And then once you have that, with it still selected, hold Control and click this button up here. It's called Pan Behind, and that'll center the anchor point for you. Then you want to go here to the Align tab, and then just basically align it like that. Alright. So now select the shape layer and click R. That'll bring up the rotation properties and set that to 45. Alright, like that. And then hit S and bring up the scale properties. So we're going to keyframe the scale, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to set the initial value to 0. And then we're gonna click this little, and this is at 0 seconds. It doesn't matter where the song is, just follow these steps. So go to the beginning of the whole timeline and then set the scale to 0. So keyframe that, and then go to anywhere you really want in the in the timeline. I guess 3 seconds. So I'm gonna type 300. That'll go to 3 seconds here. And then basically just make it so that, drag it so that it's right off the screen so you can't see it anymore. So it looks like this. Right, just like that. And then with it selected, hit Control D. Then you want to go to the effects and presets. Search up an effect called ramp. It's called gradient ramp, but ramp will do just fine. Slap that on layer number 2. And then you could change the colors. So for us, we're gonna go with a like a greenish, like a blue to a green, yellowish fade, like that, because that looks kind of cool. And that's what we got. So now if you play it, it looks like that. Now the reason you don't see the other white one is because it's basically directly on top of it, and they have the exact same motion. So if I were to offset this, then you'd see the other color. So we're gonna search up another effect called blind. And it's called Venetian Blind. It has a 32 next to it. Don't do the FX one. Do the 32 Venetian Blinds. And drag that onto shape layer 2. Alright, and transition completion, set that to about 50. These are settings that you can just mess around with. Direction, 90, and then the width, again, mess around with that. But I'm just going to go with 120 for this tutorial. Alright, and now that you have that, it'll look like that. So go to 1 second in your timeline and drag shape layer 2 to 1 second and then play it. And it'll look like that. Perfect. Next, you want to select both of them, right click and click pre-compose. Call this echo or whatever you want to call it, but in this case I'm going to call echo, and I'm just going to click OK. And we're going to go to the Effects and Presets tab and search Echo. Just drag it on. Set the echo time to -2. Set the number of echoes to about 50. And you'll get something that looks like this. And set the echo operator to composite and back. And that's what you get. You get something that looks like that. Cool. So now right click echo and then pre-compose it again and call this one time remap. You can call it whatever you want. This just helps me to keep everything organized. And click move all attributes into the new composition like that. Now that you have that, it's going to look exactly the same, but right click the time remap and then click go to time and then enable time remapping. Scroll all the way to the end. And you're going to see this keyframe. Just click it and then click the delete button or the backspace button to delete it. We don't need that. And then go to the easing, the first ease marker. Add a keyframe for 0, 0, 0, whatever that is. And then go all the way to the end, past the easing mark. And then basically just choose a number, like just make this whatever you want. So in this case, I think 2200 would work well, and it'll look something like that. And you need to make sure when you play this, if it looks too fast in linear, then it'll be too fast in when you ease it. So to me that looks fine. Now in preview, if you ever, this is actually a tip because I didn't know I had this on a second ago, but if you ever need a little bit extra performance in exchange for a preview quality, just set skip. Basically I have it so it skips every other keyframe, so I'm seeing 30 frames per second, but if you set it to 0, it'll look a lot smoother like that. But this is on performance, it makes it a lot easier. For this case, I'll just keep it 0 so you guys have the best viewing experience. So now that you have that done, using K again on your keyboard, you're going to just add keyframes like this all the way through. Good. So now your thing looks like this. It plays the same because it's linear. Just highlight all of them, and on your keyboard hit F9. This is called an easy ease. And now that you do that, if you play it, you'll notice that it looks weird. All right. So go here to the graph editor, and there's a little squiggly line under the escape key on your keyboard. With your mouse in the timeline in this little section, hit that, and it'll make it bigger. You could do that to any section, by the way, just so you know. If you wanted to, it's very helpful, especially for this in particular. So deselect it so that nothing is selected, and without selecting this square right here, this tiny square, and this tiny square, select everything in between like that. It'll look like it's selected, but notice how these squares are solid and the last two are hollow. That's exactly what you're looking for. So find the smallest distance between two squares, and I'm just gonna eyeball this real quickly, and to me it appears like it's this one right here. So we're gonna zoom on this one, but put your mouse on it, hit Alt, and then scroll wheel wheel up actually, and then we're just going to grab this handlebar and we're going to drag it up, and then drag this handlebar and then drag it down. So that you can mess around with these values however you like, but I think that'll do. So now when we play it, it'll look something like this. And again, you can just mess around with these and just kind of change their values or whatnot. Make it a little bit more aggressive. Or you can make it a lot smoother by doing something like this. If you change the angle, it'll also make it smoother or more aggressive depending on what you're looking for. And you'll notice that the ending one, and then it stops. So that is pretty much how you do your background squares, or any shape in particular, in Adobe After Effects. If this tutorial helped you guys, let me know down in the comment section. I want to start doing a bunch of cool beginner tutorials for you guys in Adobe After Effects, and then this way you guys can start making intros and stuff. I know a lot of you know how to do this already, but for those of you who don't, if this helped, make sure you drop a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Without further ado, guys, peace and bye-bye. I hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving.